Hi, this is Chrissy from the Dotted Lime, and today we're going to go behind the lime, show you how to make biscuits for your next family meal using our magical biscuit mix. Okay, so in order to make biscuits, what you're going to need at home is a bag of our magical biscuit mix. You're going to need some milk, and I use just regular whole milk, and you're going to need some apple cider vinegar. Also, you're going to need a bowl, some sort of mixing implement, a biscuit cutter, this could be a jar or a cup or anything fancy that you might have, and a rolling pin. So you're going to put a cup of milk into some sort of jar. You're also going to go ahead and weigh out the apple cider vinegar. You're going to go ahead and add that to the milk ahead of time. Just going to stir that up just a smidge. Let that sit for a minute while you measure out your dry ingredients. So I've already weighed out the 2 1/3 cups of dry mix from my biscuit mix. I'm going to put the dry mix into a bowl, and then I'm just going to make a little indentation in the middle of my dry mix to have a place for this milk to go when I dump it in. The next thing you're going to do is you're just going to take all of the milk that you've weighed out, dump it right into the middle of your bowl. I like to use a dough whisk to mix up biscuits because unlike using a whisk, it will allow you to incorporate all of your dry and your wet ingredients together, but without getting all clogged up in the middle of a typical whisk. So we're just going to mix this up pretty quickly. It's going to look a little sloppy. You're going to be concerned and you're going to think your recipe's wrong or you mismeasured. But don't worry. There's a method to the madness. The next thing we're going to do is roll out your biscuits. I'm going to use a little bit of our all-purpose, which is labeled Super Awesome Flour. And I'm just going to put some of that down on my counter so that nothing sticks. So I'm going to scrape all of the stuff out of the bowl onto my table. You can use a cutting board. You can use one of those baking mats. My mom always had one of those Tupperware. It was like a rubber circle that you would use for cutting out or rolling out pie crust, and it had all the circles on it. That would be a fun thing to use for this. I'm just going to use my counter. So got my flour on the table, a little bit on my hands. I'm just going to kind of pat this into something resembling a circle. As you can tell, as the dough sits for a moment and hydrates, it becomes a lot easier to work with. So you can use a rolling pin if you'd like. You don't really need to if you're only making one recipe of this biscuit mix. It's not very much to work with, and the dough is super soft. So I'm going to pat this down to about an inch thick, maybe an inch and a quarter, something like that. So we're just going to put some flour on our biscuit cutter and cut out our biscuits. So you're just going to continue cutting out biscuits and then re-rolling your dough until you don't have anything left. You may have learned along the way when you were baking using gluten-containing grains that you could only roll out your biscuits once or twice or they would get tough. We sort of have that benefit using gluten-free flour, the benefit being that we can just continue rolling out our dough over and over again because we're not going to overwork the gluten that doesn't exist in our dough. And then I've got this little bit left here at the end. I'm just going to roll it up into a ball and make that into a tiny tasting biscuit just so that you know they're not poisonous or anything before you feed them to your family. So we're going to put this pan of biscuits into our preheated oven. It's now set at 425, which this is a gas oven, fairly accurate. If you don't have an oven thermometer, you may want to get one of those. It's a pretty cheap investment, but it'll help you in the long run with all your baked goods, just to know that your oven's at the right temperature. 425 for about 7 or 8 minutes. You just want to get a little bit of color on your biscuits, and then we're going to drop the temperature down to 375 and let them continue cooking the rest of that time at that temperature. Okay, so our biscuits are ready. And get these out of the oven. Look at that, they're so pretty. Okay, so our biscuits are out of the oven and looking really great. Look at that. So thank you for watching our video today. Hope you enjoy your biscuit mix and you make some really great things for your family. Check out the rest of our videos to see what other really cool things you can make using our mixes. Like and subscribe all of our social media to know what we're doing next. Got new products being released all the time. Thank you again for watching. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you next time on Behind the Line.